Have you ever realized that by mastering just the first few hours of your morning, you could completely change your life? Most people don't fail because of a lack of opportunity. They lose energy, focus, and discipline right in the first few minutes after waking up. The morning is like a runway for an airplane. If you take off in the right direction, the rest of the journey will go smoothly. But if you start in chaos with your phone, notifications, or laziness, you're planting the seed of failure early on. I once said, success doesn't come from grand actions, but from small habits repeated every day. And no habit is more powerful than mastering your morning. Because the morning isn't just time, it's a state of mind. It's the moment you choose to be proactive or to continue being pulled along by other people's pace of life. I've met so many smart, hard-working people whose lives never truly changed simply because they never learned to control their mornings. They let their phone be the first thing they touch instead of a gold journal or a mindful breath. Today, I want to share with you 10 powerful principles to help you turn your morning into the launch pad for a day and a life filled with energy, direction, and success. If you're truly serious about changing yourself, stay until the end. Because principle number 7 might be the key that helps you completely break free from your old patterns. Principle 1: win the first battle, don't hit snooze. Imagine your morning. The alarm rings. In that brief moment, you have two choices. Get up and start or hit snooze and go back to sleep. It may seem small, but that moment is where you decide whether you win or lose the first battle of the day. I once met a successful man, and when asked about his secret to maintaining discipline for decades, he simply smiled and said, "I've never let the alarm clock beat me in the morning." It sounds simple, but it's a profound philosophy because every time you hit snooze, you're not just delaying waking up. You're training yourself to delay your life. Morning is the first moment you can affirm your control over your life. When you choose to get up immediately, you send a powerful message to yourself. I am in charge, not a victim of laziness. Winning that first small battle creates a domino effect for the rest of your day. Think back to the days when you got up on time, moved your body, and accomplished a few things early. You felt confident, energized, ready for anything. But on the days you slept in, the whole day felt sluggish, stagnant, and you couldn't figure out why everything felt off. Quote, "That's because your bed is the first battlefield of success. The unsuccessful lose there, the successful win there." I want you to look straight at that habit and ask yourself, how many times do I let myself win each morning? Or am I teaching myself to lose right when the day has just begun? Don't underestimate the power of your morning. It's not just your wake-up time, it's your decision time, the moment you define whether you live by will or by emotion. I often tell my students, discipline is the bridge between goals and achievement. And the first discipline of the day is not hitting snooze. When you can do this, you're building the foundation of self-respect, a powerful feeling that says, I can trust myself. One of my students once shared, "I used to set my alarm for 5 a.m., but I always got up at 6. I thought, it's just an hour. What's the big deal?" But when I looked back, I realized I had lied to myself 365 times in a year. Cool. That sentence made me go silent for a long time. Because that's exactly how most people live. They break promises to themselves every morning, then wonder why they can't achieve big success. If you want to change your life, start by keeping the smallest promise. Get up when the alarm rings. It's not just a physical action. It's a spiritual declaration. I will no longer delay my dreams. Remember, every morning you win over yourself, you're creating a stronger version of who you are. And those small victories accumulated over time will define the person you become in the future. So tomorrow morning when the alarm rings, don't hit snooze. Smile, take a deep breath, and say to yourself, the first battle I win. Quote, ask yourself, how many times have you let yourself lose the first battle of the morning? Principle: master your mind before you master the world. When you first open your eyes in the morning, what's the first thing you do? For many people, it's grabbing their phone. They scroll through endless notifications, news, emails, social media, and within just a few short minutes, their mind has already been pulled away by the outside world. The irony is that most of us spend the first hours of our day reacting instead of taking charge. We let other people, their posts, images, and updates decide our mood, energy, and even the direction of our day. If you don't design your own life, chances are you'll fall into someone else's plan. And guess what they have planned for you? Not much. Morning is the most sacred time for your mind. It's when you've just stepped out of your dreams, your head is clear, and your heart is still open. But with just one touch of your phone, you lose that precious moment. Remember, the world will always be noisy. But your mind needs stillness to find direction. When you let the world in first, you stop living your plan. You start living someone else's. Begin your morning with mindfulness. Before checking any information, spend at least 10 minutes just being with yourself. Take deep breaths. Feel life flowing through your body. Be grateful for another new day to start again. Ask yourself, who do I want to become today? It sounds simple, but that moment builds a mental shield for your entire day. It's like putting on invisible armor that protects your mind from the chaos outside. I once coached a young entrepreneur. He used to start his mornings flooded with messages, emails, and deadlines. Every morning, he felt drained before even beginning work. I asked him, if you were the train conductor, would you let the passengers control the wheel? He laughed, then fell silent. From the next day on, he started spending 15 minutes each morning just writing his thoughts and doing short meditations. 3 months later, he said, I'm not only working more effectively, I feel more alive. Because when you master your mind, you can master everything else. Make your morning your sacred time. Don't let others enter your mind before you're ready. Let silence, breath, and your first thoughts of the day come from within, not from the world outside. We cannot control the wind, but we can adjust the sails. Morning is when you adjust the sails of your mind, directing it toward the light, instead of letting the waves carry it away. I suggest you try something small tomorrow morning. Instead of touching your phone, touch your mind. Sit up straight, close your eyes, and softly say, today, I choose peace. I choose discipline. I choose to take control of my life. When you repeat that enough times, your mind will begin to believe. And when the mind believes, actions change. That's how you master the world, by first mastering yourself. Ask yourself, do you start your morning with control or by being controlled? Principle. Write down your goals every morning. There's a small habit that completely changed my life. Writing down my goals every morning. I'm not talking about writing a long list of wishful dreams. I'm talking about 3 to 5 truly important things, the ones you want to move closer to today, this week, or this year. Once during a talk, someone asked me, Jim, how do you stay motivated every day? I smiled and said, motivation doesn't just show up. It's written down. Most people wake up without a map. They simply wait to see how the day goes. But you see, if you don't know where you're going, every road is the wrong one. When you write down your goals each morning, you're telling your mind, this is the direction I want to go. Your brain works like a GPS system. It needs a destination to function. Without a clear goal, it just wanders in confusion. I remember a young man who came to me after a seminar. He said, I've listened to hundreds of success talks, but nothing has changed. I asked, do you write down what you want to achieve every morning? He said, no, I just think about it in my head. I replied, that's the problem. What isn't written gets forgotten. 3 months later, he came back. His eyes were brighter, his voice more confident. He said, I started writing down 5 goals every morning. Now I know exactly what I need to do. And the amazing thing is I finally feel alive. Because when you write down what you want, you're signing a contract with yourself. You turn dreams into words and words into actions. From there, actions create results. Don't just think about your goals. Write them down. Pen and paper turn thoughts into something tangible. Writing your goals each morning helps you focus your energy. Instead of scattering it, you know it matters. Instead of being led by emotion, you're guided by intention. Imagine starting your day like an architect. Before laying the first brick, you draw the blueprint. That blueprint is your morning page. You don't need fancy words, just honesty. What do I want to accomplish today? Who do I need to become to achieve it? And what am I grateful for right now? When you write, don't just note what you want to have. Write who you want to become. Because ultimately, success isn't what you get. It's who you become in the process. Try this tomorrow morning. Before touching your phone, pick up a pen. Before reading the news, read your own mind. Write down 3 things you want to achieve today. They don't have to be perfect, just real. After a few weeks, you'll notice your mind becomes clearer, your actions more purposeful, and you feel like you're steering your ship, not just drifting with the waves. Make writing your morning goals a non-negotiable ritual like brushing your teeth or drinking water. Because it's not just something you do, it's who you're training yourself to become. If these lessons truly resonate with you, hit subscribe and join me on this journey to uncover principles that help you move forward every single day. Ask yourself, if you don't write it down today, how will you know where you're going tomorrow? Principle 4. Create your own morning ritual. Every successful person I've ever met has a morning ritual. No one starts their day randomly. They have structure, purpose, and a clear mindset, stepping into the new day like a leader walking onto the stage of life. Morning isn't just a time to wake up. It's a time to awaken. And your morning ritual is the bridge between sleep and consciousness, between potential and action. I once had a student, a man who struggled with procrastination, stress, and fatigue. He said, "I always woke up late, grabbed coffee, and jumped straight into emails. My whole day was just reacting to everything." I told him to try this instead. Before touching your phone, spend 30 minutes on yourself. Read, meditate, move, and write. 3 weeks later, he texted me, "I've never felt this calm and clear. Things are still busy, but I'm no longer swept away. I'm steering my day." That's the power of a morning ritual. It doesn't make the outside world quieter, but it makes you stronger in the storm. Don't start your day until you've finished it on paper. And I want to expand that thought. Don't step out into the world until you've completed your morning. You don't need someone else's ritual. Create your own, a personal ceremony where you awaken your mind, body, and spirit. Here's a simple but effective framework I've used for years. READR. Reading. Spend at least 10 pages with knowledge. A good book, a thought-provoking idea, or even a short quote from Jim Rohn. The goal isn't to read more, but to read deeply. E. Exercise. 10-20 minutes to activate your energy. You can jog, do push-ups, or just stretch. When the body wakes up, the mind becomes clear. A. Affirmation. Speak out what you believe in. I am strong. I know where I'm going. I deserve success. D. Design the day. Write down 3 things you want to accomplish today. When you design your morning, you design your life. This isn't a to-do list. It's a system to recharge your energy. Because if you don't create your own ritual, you'll unconsciously fall into someone else's ritual of chaos, stress, and distraction. Morning is the laboratory of the soul. It's where you rebuild yourself not to be perfect, but to be better little by little each day. If you want your life to change, don't start by trying to control the world. Start by mastering the first 60 minutes of your day. Remember, you don't need 3 hours for a quality morning. You just need a block of time to pause, reset, and realign. That's when you step out of the rush and return to yourself. If practiced consistently, your morning ritual will become your foundation, helping you stay calm in crisis, clear in confusion, and steady in temptation. Morning isn't something you have. It's something you create. And how you create that morning determines the quality of your day, your week, your month, and ultimately your life. Ask yourself, if your morning is the mirror of your life, what reflection do you see today? Principle. Oh, don't let the world steal your morning. Have you ever woken up feeling full of energy only for that inspiration to disappear within minutes? You open your phone, read a few negative headlines, watch a random video, or reply to trivial messages, and suddenly your mind belongs to the world, not to you. We live in an era where everything fights for your attention. Notifications, emails, social media, news, all competing for the first minutes of your day. But what few realize is this. Your attention is your most valuable asset. Lose it and you lose direction, creativity, and eventually yourself. If you don't have a plan for yourself, someone else will pull you into theirs. And sadly, their plan rarely helps you grow. They want you to watch more, buy more, do more, but rarely to live more deeply. Every morning, you open your phone right away. You're letting the world enter your mind when it's at its weakest. That's when you've just woken up. Your thoughts are unformed, your emotions unsteady, and you let the outside world reprogram your inner energy. Remember, morning is the golden hour of the mind. One focused hour on yourself can transform your entire day. One distracted hour can destroy everything you planned the night before. I once coached a group of young startup founders. When I asked what they did in the first 30 minutes of the morning, 80% said, "Check my phone." They didn't realize that this very habit was draining their motivation, control, and creativity. One of them decided to try turning off the world. For the first hour of his day, no phone, no email, no social media. 2 weeks later, he said, "I've never been this productive. I feel like I'm the driver, not a puppet of information." And that reminded me of an old philosophy I've always believed. Don't let the world enter your mind too early. Enter your own mind first. Try setting the golden 60-minute rule for the first hour after waking up. Don't allow anything external to come in. No news, no social media. Only you, your breath, your goals, and your awakened mind. This isn't avoidance. It's protection. Because if you don't protect your mental energy, the world will consume it for you. Remember, the world will always be loud. There will always be something demanding your attention. But only you can decide what deserves your morning energy. I call this the sacred moment of stillness. It's when you're not yet distracted, not yet rushed, not yet pressured. And in that moment, your soul is recharged. If you protect your morning, you'll master your day. If you let your morning be stolen, you'll spend the rest of the day chasing what you've already lost. Focus. So tomorrow morning, don't rush to open your phone. Open your mind. Don't read the news. Read yourself. Don't seek attention from the world. Reconnect with your soul. Morning isn't just the time to start. It's the time to take back ownership. And when you keep that ownership, the outside world no longer has the power to define you. Here's the question for you. Who's controlling your morning, you or the world? Principle 6. Invest in knowledge every morning. One of the highest return investments you can make, not in a bank, not in stocks, but in your mind. And the golden time to invest in it is the morning when the world is still slowly waking up. When your mind hasn't been pulled away by hundreds of sounds and images, that's when the brain absorbs best, deepest, and purest. That is the golden hour of the intellect. And the one who knows how to use that golden hour is the one who's already ahead of the rest of the world. The difference between where you are and where you want to be lies in the knowledge you haven't learned. Morning is the ideal time to fill that gap. Not with noise, but with inner nourishment. Reading, listening to audio, taking notes, reflecting, or simply spending a few minutes learning something new. I once had a habit that I maintained for over 20 years. Every morning I read 10 pages. Just 10 pages. Your soul is recharged. If you protect your morning, you'll master your day. If you let your morning be stolen, you'll spend the rest of the day chasing what you've already lost. Focus. So tomorrow morning, don't rush to open your phone. Open your mind. Don't read the news. Read yourself. Don't seek attention from the world. Reconnect with your soul. Morning isn't just the time to start. It's the time to take back ownership. And when you keep that ownership, the outside world no longer has the power to define you. Here's the question for you. Who's controlling your morning, you or the world? Principle 6. Invest in knowledge every morning. One of the highest return investments you can make, not in a bank, not in stocks, but in your mind. And the golden time to invest in it is the morning when the world is still slowly waking up. When your mind hasn't been pulled away by hundreds of sounds and images, that's when the brain absorbs best, deepest, and purest. That is the golden hour of the intellect. And the one who knows how to use that golden hour is the one who's already ahead of the rest of the world. The difference between where you are and where you want to be lies in the knowledge you haven't learned. Morning is the ideal time to fill that gap. Not with noise, but with inner nourishment. Reading, listening to audio, taking notes, reflecting, or simply spending a few minutes learning something new. I once had a habit that I maintained for over 20 years. Every morning I read 10 pages. Just 10 pages. No more, no less. But when I look back, I had read hundreds of books, listened to thousands of ideas, and most importantly, I had changed the way I think. Because the greatest thing knowledge gives you isn't information. It's a new perspective. The more you learn, the more you realize the problem isn't in the circumstances, it's in the perception. I remember an old friend, an entrepreneur who went bankrupt twice. He said that after failing, he had no faith left to start again until he heard one of my talks. No change is sustainable if your mind stays the same. From then on, he began each morning by reading for 30 minutes. He read about financial management, psychology, and personal development. 6 months later, he rebuilt his company, and this time he succeeded. He said, "I didn't change my work. I only changed my thinking, and everything else changed with it." Morning is the very moment that shapes that thinking, because a mind that isn't nourished will soon be filled with the noise of the world. Remember, your mind is like a garden. If you don't sow the seeds of knowledge each morning, the weeds of negativity will grow. You can't expect a good life if each day you only feed your mind with news, drama, and anxiety. So, nourish it. Make investing in knowledge every morning a non-negotiable habit. You don't need hours, just 15 to 30 minutes a day. Read, take notes, listen, or even watch an inspiring video clip as long as it elevates your thinking. One morning, one page, one idea can change the course of your entire life. Because sometimes a single new thought is enough to break the chains of an old habit. Let me share an image with you. Morning is like a quiet courtyard before the city wakes. If you walk quietly through that courtyard with a good book, you'll hear your inner voice, the one the busy day has drowned out. Don't wish for things to be easier. Wish to become better. And knowledge is the path for you to become better every day. When you learn, you expand your own borders. When you invest in intellect, you're accumulating an asset no one can take away. So tomorrow morning, instead of scrolling your phone, scroll through a few lines of a book. Instead of letting the world shape you, let knowledge shape your world. Don't forget, a smart morning creates a wise life. Question for you. Are you starting your day by consuming information or investing in knowledge? And you should stay, because principle number 7 will touch your very body, the source of all emotions and inner strength. Wow. Principle movement. The body leads emotion. There's a truth few people realize. Emotions don't just come from thoughts. They come from movement. If you want to change your mood, change your body first. You can't control the wind, but you can adjust the sails. And the body is the sail that helps you steer your emotions. Let me tell you a short story. A student of mine, his name is Daniel, once fell into a deep slump in motivation. He said, "I'm no longer excited about work. I have no energy to start the day. I tried reading, meditating, writing goals, but I still feel empty." I asked, "What does your morning look like?" He answered, "I get up, sit quietly for a bit, then start working right away." I said, "That's the problem. You're letting the mind lead the body when the body should be leading the mind." I told him to start with something simple, movement. Every morning, just walk for 15 minutes outside. No music, no podcast, just walk, breathe, and feel life. 3 weeks later, he came back with a completely different tone. "I'm not just healthier. Everything looks brighter. New ideas come more easily. I feel like my energy has been switched back on." That is the power of movement. The body is the switch for emotion. When you turn it on, the mind lights up. Conversely, if you let your body stay sluggish, your emotions will sink. We often forget we're designed to move. We weren't born to sit for hours in laziness and stagnation. A body that doesn't move is fertile ground for fatigue, stress, and negativity to grow. Morning is the best time to awaken the body. You don't need heavy gym sessions or a marathon. Just 10-15 minutes of stretching, walking, jumping rope, or deep breathing is enough to awaken the latent energy within you. Because when the body moves, positive hormones are activated. Dopamine, serotonin, endorphins, all of which make you feel confident, alert, and full of vitality. That's why people with high energy aren't just healthier, they're clearer and more optimistic. Don't wish for things to be easier, wish to be stronger. And that strength starts with the very first movement of each morning. Think back to the days you woke up early, moved, and breathed fresh air. You felt like a different person, right? You felt lighter, more decisive, and ready for any challenge. But on the days you lazily pulled the blanket for just 10 more minutes, your mind seemed heavy all day long. That's no coincidence. It's a law. The body creates the state, and the state creates results. I want you to remember this. Every morning you can choose to awaken the body to command your emotions, or let your emotions command the body. So tomorrow morning when you wake up, do something simple. Get up as soon as the alarm rings. Stand tall. Breathe deeply. Relax your shoulders. Take a few steps around the room. Feel the blood flowing through your body. Feel your breath brimming with energy. Let your body tell your mind, I'm ready for today. You don't need to wait for inspiration to begin. Begin to create inspiration. Movement isn't just exercise. It's a ritual of spiritual rebirth every morning. And when you do it consistently, you'll find your mind is clearer, your energy more resilient, and everything in your life gradually falls into its right orbit. Let the body lead emotion because the body doesn't know how to lie, but emotions can. Question for you this morning. Did you truly awaken your body? Or did you simply get out of bed? Principle PAR. Turn your morning into a system, not willpower. Do you know why most people fail when they try to change themselves? It's not because they lack motivation. It's not because they lack knowledge. It's because they rely on willpower instead of building a system. Willpower is like a flame. It burns bright, strong, but fades quickly if you don't know how to protect it. A system, on the other hand, is like the sun. It rises every day whether you feel like it or not. Discipline is the bridge between goals and accomplishment. And discipline only becomes sustainable when it's placed within a system. Let me tell you a story about one of my students. His name is Andrew. He had tried dozens of times to wake up early. Each time it lasted only a few days before he fell back into old habits. He said, I can't maintain any habit for more than a week. I think I just have weak willpower. I smiled and replied, No, you're not weak. You're just using the wrong tool. I told him, instead of trying to wake up early by effort, design your morning by system. His system started the night before, turning off screens 30 minutes before bed, placing his alarm 3 steps away from his bed, preparing workout clothes in advance, and writing down 3 tasks for the next morning. 2 weeks later, he texted me, I don't have to force myself anymore. Everything just happens automatically. That's the power of a system. Because when you have a system, you don't have to fight yourself every morning. Willpower helps you start, but system helps you sustain. If you rely only on emotion, you'll act when you feel like it. But if you have a system, you'll act even when you don't feel like it. And that's what separates dreamers from achievers. Your morning shouldn't depend on your mood. It should run like a finely tuned machine. You wake up and know exactly what to do and in what order. No thinking, no negotiating, just doing. Don't trust motivation, trust habits. Remember, success doesn't come from one grand act. It comes from small actions repeated consistently within a structured system. I recommend starting with a simple morning checklist, 4 or 5 things you'll do every day without thinking. For example, get up immediately when the alarm rings. 2. Drink a glass of water. 3. Move your body for 10 minutes. 4. Write down 3 goals for the day. 5. Read 10 pages or listen to one gym ran lesson. Simple, clear, repeatable. Repeat it long enough and you'll no longer have to try, you'll just do. A systematic morning not only saves your willpower energy, it also helps you start the day with confidence and control. You're no longer being pulled. You're steering your own ship. If you've ever failed to stay disciplined, don't blame yourself. The problem isn't you, it's your design. When you build the right system, you don't have to fight every morning. You just follow it. And following creates freedom. Because the paradox of discipline is this. Only when you are disciplined enough can you truly be free. When you control your habits, you control your future. And when you control your morning, you control your life. So tomorrow morning, don't ask, do I have enough willpower? Ask instead, is my system strong enough? Make every right action an automatic habit. That's when you no longer have to struggle because success has become your reflex. Question for you. Are you living by inspiration or by a system that leads to success? Principle: treat your morning as sacred time. Pause for a moment and ask yourself, when was the last time you truly felt the morning? Not just waking up, not just starting work, but truly living in that morning. We often treat the morning as a rushed beginning to another busy day. But for those who are awake in spirit, morning isn't just the start of a day. It's a sacred moment, a time to reconnect with yourself, with life, and with the deepest source of your energy. When you are grateful for the morning, the entire day becomes a gift. Morning isn't a time for hurry. It's a time for awareness. As you rise from sleep, the world is still quiet, the light still soft. That's when you can hear your inner voice clearer than ever. One of the habits I cherish most is spending 5 minutes every morning simply watching the sunrise doing nothing. Just standing there breathing, listening, and feeling life moving all around me. Because in that moment, I am no longer a teacher, no longer a goal chaser. I am simply a small part of the grand design of existence. And that feeling of smallness makes me strong. We spend so much time doing that we forget the quality of doing depends on the quality of being. Morning is the perfect opportunity to practice presence. When you are present, you don't just work better, you live deeper. I once met a young woman in New York, a marketing director, constantly caught in the cycle of stress. She said, "I hate mornings because they just signal another stressful day." "Oh," I asked, "if you spent just 10 minutes each morning sitting still, no phone, no plan, just silence, what do you think would change?" She laughed it off, but a week later she emailed me. I tried it, and strangely those 10 quiet minutes made my whole day lighter. I've started to love mornings. We can't control everything that happens in a day, but we can control how we enter that day. And the morning, when treated with reverence, becomes the ceremony of a peaceful soul. Think of morning as a small temple. When you step inside, you lay down noise, worry, and fear. You breathe. You feel gratitude. You begin with humility and clarity. Do that every day. And you're training your mind in a priceless skill. Peace in the midst of chaos. No one can give you peace. You have to build it yourself. And morning is the foundation stone of that construction. Learn to see the morning through grateful eyes. Grateful that you still have a chance to live. Grateful that you can still change something. Grateful that the sun still rises as if whispering, "You have one more day to be better." If you start your morning with gratitude, nothing during the day can easily bring you down. Because when your heart is full of gratitude, fear has no place to hide. Starting today, pause for a few minutes before diving into the world's rush. Let the morning be your moment of return to yourself. Because when you honor your morning, you honor your life. Question for you. Are you waking up to live or merely to exist? Principleship: master your morning, master your life. I once said, if you can master a single day, you can master your whole life. And you know what? It all begins with the morning. Your morning is the mirror of your life. The way you wake up, the way you think, the way you act in those first few hours, all of it is a preview of the future you're creating. If your mornings are chaotic, rushed, and distracted, chances are your life feels the same. But if your mornings are calm, disciplined, and purposeful, then no matter how the world turns, you remain steady because you've mastered the roots within. Don't wish for an easier day. Wish to become stronger. And that strength doesn't appear by accident. It's built each morning through small habits, disciplined choices, and moments when you choose to rise instead of delay. When you win your morning, you've already won yourself. And when you win yourself, nothing in life can defeat you. Let's look back at the journey we've taken. You learned not to hit snooze, winning your first battle the moment you wake up. You learned to master your mind before the world could shape it. You learned to write down your goals, turning dreams into action. You built your own morning ritual, making each day a personal ceremony of renewal. You learned to protect your morning from the world's intrusion, keeping your focus intact. You invested in knowledge, realizing that wisdom is the only asset no one can take away. You awakened your body, letting energy lead emotion. You created systems so you no longer rely on fragile willpower. And finally, you learn to see your morning is sacred the moment you reconnect with inner peace. All of these lead to one conclusion. When you master your morning, you are rewriting your life moment by moment, breath by breath. Imagine a different version of yourself. The one who wakes up early, who refuses to let the world define them, who begins each day with clarity, discipline, and gratitude. That person doesn't just live differently, they become different. Success isn't a faraway destination. It's simply a series of mornings lived the right way. So, if you're truly serious about your future, start with the smallest thing tomorrow morning, tomorrow. Don't hit snooze. Don't open your phone. Don't rush into the chaos. Instead, wake up 30 minutes earlier. Take a deep breath. Feel the sunrise. Hear the world slowly coming alive. Open your journal and write down 3 things you're grateful for and 3 goals you want to accomplish today. Then softly say to yourself, "Today I own my morning." If you repeat this long enough, your life will never be the same again. Daily discipline may seem small, but over time it creates a massive difference between those who succeed and those who fail. Each morning is a chance to begin again. And every time you seize it, you're writing a new chapter in your life story, one of willpower, discipline, and awakening. Question for you. If tomorrow morning were the beginning of the rest of your life, how would you start it? If today's lessons truly resonated with you, hit like, subscribe, and share this video so more people can learn how to master their own mornings. Leave a comment below. What morning habit will you start tomorrow? And remember, I'll see you in the next video where we'll continue the journey to becoming the best version of ourselves. You and I both have a gift today. Use it wisely because if you can master one day, you can master your whole life. Jim Ran.